everyone, welcome back to my channel. So before I go ahead, I just want to say a big thank you to Essay, I hope I'm saying that correctly, who was kind enough to buy me a coffee on Ko-fi. My account I always link in the description box below, and I am always absolutely so grateful that someone would take the time out to do that and send me a little tip. So thank you so much to Essay. Now on with the video. Today we have got an overview of a niche house. So what I have here is a load of samples from a company called Belle Rebelle, and I got in touch with them and asked if I could get some samples from them very cheekily, and they were very kind and they sent me a sample of every fragrance in their range. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 here. The reason I was interested in them is because my friend Sue on Instagram posted that she'd been wearing a fragrance called Bubblegum she had a sample of, and it sounded so fun. I went and had a look at the website for Belle Rebelle and I was so impressed with their branding. It's very much, it's all about sustainability, transparency. Their packaging is compostable, so you could actually just, not that they encourage it, but you could actually throw their boxes out into the environment and eventually it would just biodegrade. It's pretty amazing. The lids in the bottles are not magnetic, and they're proud to say that because actually you have to remove a magnet before you can recycle it, so they've decided to leave that off. They don't do cellophane, they don't do unnecessary plastic. They also have this policy on transparency. You can have a look on the website, it's all there. They tell you how everyone involved in the creation process of everything to do with the brand. They give you the actual names of even their interns. It's pretty amazing. I really like that. The perfumes sound fun. So we have Bubblegum. That was the one I was most interested in, and I couldn't help myself. These arrived today and I couldn't help myself. I have tried 2 of them, the 2 that I was most interested in. So these are not first impressions as such, although I only had Bubblegum on my hand for a couple of hours before my shower. So we're going to go again on my hand with Bubblegum because that's the one that I'm kind of that got me interested in the brand. So a couple of little sprays. Of course you can imagine what the fragrance is supposed to smell like. It's supposed to smell like bubblegum, and it really does. It even gives me the jaw ache that I used to get when I used to chew bubblegum. So it's that strong and clear a scent memory. It's that clear a link to that memory of chewing gum as a child that I can feel the aching that I used to get in my jaw from chewing too much gum. So it smells like, I think it was a bazooka bubblegums. I'm remembering the wrapping of what it looked like. It does also kind of feel a little bit like a juicy fruit. So it's fruity, it's got that little hint of powder. You know how a bubblegum will have the powder on the outside. So this isn't one of those shiny ball bubblegums that you have to really crunch. It's the one that's coated in a powder and it's soft to start with. And it's fruity. And it just exactly smells like that at first. So we've got notes of fruits, clove bud, bubblegum, orange oil, cashmere, patchouli oil and vanilla. So what I noticed from wearing it earlier is it smelled like bubblegum for about 20 minutes, maybe half an hour, and then it gently changed into a kind of soft, powdery, slightly fruity vanillic scent that wasn't quite so dramatically clearly bubblegum, but it was still very pleasant vanillic scent. So that is Bubblegum. It's just so fun. It's not the kind of fragrance I'm going to wear for a serious event. I'm not going to wear it to a job interview. I don't think I'd wear it on a date night. It's more like meeting friends for lunch or just hanging around. Very much an informal, fun fragrance. But it's not too juvenile. It doesn't smell like a child chewing gum. It smells exactly like the chewing gum, but it just doesn't feel too childish, if that makes sense. So that is Bubblegum. Let's move on. We don't want this to take too long. The next one I already tried is So what's it called now? Born to Rebel. I love the sound of this. Born to Rebel. Oh, I would have thought a fragrance called Born to Rebel might be quite an edgy fragrance, but from the note listing, I kind of knew it wouldn't be anyway, but I loved the note listing, which is why I had to try it earlier. So I've just sprayed it. All the samples come in these little envelopes, and they have ingredients and notes and stuff on a piece of sticky tape. So we'll pop that back in. Let me read you the notes first. Powder notes: bergamot, lemon, lily of the valley, almond blossom. So that was one of the notes that really caught my attention. Orris root, yeah. Vanilla, yeah. Nude musks, yeah. So those notes, absolutely love. The only one in the whole list that I'm not a massive fan of is lily of the valley. I don't always get on with that. If it's a very strong note, it's a bit too green, a little bit too sharp, a little bit too clean sometimes for my liking. But done in small doses, I can get along with it. So let's have a little smell and see what this is like. So as I say earlier, I did already have this on my skin, and it has a familiar feel, this one. You can definitely smell the musks, the powder and the iris all coming together to create this soft, fluffy aura. But there's a yellow, sunny floral. Would I have been able to tell you it was a lily fragrance? I don't think so. I would have guessed maybe mimosa and heliotrope. It's got that slightly almond feel, but we do have an almond blossom note, so that could explain that. But I'm thinking yellow, fluffy florals. Very sunny, very solar. Clean laundry. And a little bit of sweetness, a fluffy, everything's very fluffy here. So you just think of something super fluffy. Actually, see the fluff on my top here? That totally represents that smell, except this top would need to be yellow. So look at the yellow in the trees there. It's some sort of, I don't know if they're flowers or, yeah, I've got some yellow flowers growing over there. I don't know what they are. Look at that colour. And then look at this fluff on my jumper, and that is what you get here. It's a sunny, fluffy, musky, slightly sweet floral. Really pretty, super pretty. Daytime kind of spring, maybe summer, but not on a really hot day. Might be too cloying. Very springy, totally springy. Really like it. Yeah. It's almost like a hug without being like a gourmand, a very rich wintry fragrance, but it still has that really cozy, fluffy, soft hug-like feel. And I think that's the muskiness. I'm really into musks at the moment, massively into musks, so I'm enjoying that. So that one again is Born to Rebel. Now the last three I haven't tried at all, and I'm going to do them on paper. So we'll start with this one, which is called Unrequited. So let's open that up. I'll tell you what, let me read you the notes first. No, I'm not. I'm going to open it up first. Now I've started opening it. Right. Okay, let's read you the notes. Unrequited. Rose oxide, aldehydes, Bulgarian rose, rose absolute from Morocco, black pepper, saffron and musks. So there's two notes in here that I have reservations about. Rose oxide can be slightly metallic. I've smelt it on its own and I kind of like it, but it's got a slight metallic edge to it. So that could be a problem for my taste. And then the other note I don't always like is saffron. Although I enjoy it in, what do you call it, Baccarat Rouge. I don't mind it in that, but oftentimes it can lend a very exotic, sometimes spicy, suede, sickly feel to something. Just looking over there because Sweet is coming out. So I don't always get on with saffron, but it's not necessarily going to ruin it for me. It's one of those things I just have to try and see. All the other notes I like the sound of. I really do enjoy rose in general. It sounds like it's going to be pretty rosy based on all the different rose notes. So here we go, 3 little sprays on there. I'll pop it back in its envelope. let the alcohol dissipate. So this is unrequited, so I'm gathering that means unrequited love. We've got rose. Rose is generally linked to love. And what do they mean by unrequited love then? What are they going to go for here? That's an unusual scent. I don't really know how I feel about that. It smells like polished wood, like yeah, like someone's just taken an old-fashioned polish and polished a mahogany piece of furniture, like a massive desk or a table, but it's really old mahogany wood and it's polished. There's a few things in here that feel slightly conflicting at the moment. Like it doesn't feel, it feels like there's lots of different notes kind of all shouting at once. So it may need a little bit of time for them to become more cohesive. I can smell something in here that I don't get on with. Possibly ambroxan. I hate going on about ambroxan. I don't know, there might be something like that, or amber max maybe, which is in sauvage. Something that just grates on me ever so slightly. It's kind of like a dry woody thing that's in a lot of modern fragrances. So it definitely smells peppery, it smells woody, and there's a lot of rose, but it's almost a bit soapy. I don't know if I can smell saffron specifically, but I do get a spicy feel and a very rich feel. It's very rich. I'll be honest, I don't really like this. It is obviously very much just sprayed, and I'm sure it will improve, but it's overwhelming my nose. It's a bit obnoxious at the moment. I'm going to take some fresh air. Let's try again. Yeah, there's something slightly, I'm thinking sickly, but that's not quite the right word. Mossy, I don't know. I don't like it. It's got a bit of a Middle Eastern feel about it, and I maybe that's coming from the saffron, maybe it's something else. It's very difficult for me to describe it because I'm not getting on with this at all. Yeah, kind of soapy but very dense. It's rich. If you like really bold, impactful fragrances, rosy and slightly Middle Eastern and spicy, you may well like this one. This is totally not up my street. So that one is Unrequited. Next one then is going to be Air. Could do with a breath of fresh air now, so let's hope this one's nice. I think my preference these days is very much for lighter fragrances. Not necessarily weak, but more transparent. I'm not really into very heavy things. So yeah, I'm more likely to like a fragrance called Air. So let's see what this one is like. We'll spray it on a bit of paper here. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I haven't looked at the notes yet, so I'm going to just spray it. So I'm going to spray it and then I'm going to look at the notes. So test my notes to see if I can get anything, because I don't remember this at all. I remember that it didn't appeal to me, or the only two that really appealed to me were the first two that I told you about, and this one I gathered wouldn't, or the others I gathered wouldn't be quite up my street just based on the note listings alone. So let's have a smell now of Air. Let's actually smell the real Air. Clear the palette, cleanse the palette. Here we go. Okay, so there's a smokiness here, something like a birch tar, or maybe vetiver, or potentially both, but or gaiac wood. It's one of those smoky woody type notes. I'm gonna go with birch tar as my guess, because it's almost a bit leathery, so I certainly wouldn't have put the word air to how this smells based on the fact that it's kind of smoky. It's a little bit like but not okay, this sounds terrible, but it smells a little bit like Savoy sausages. You know, that smoky meat type smell, like not actually cooking meat, but if you take a Savoy sausage, it's got that kind of burnt smoked smell about it, like smoked meat. It's not too bad. It's less meaty, more of the smoke, if that makes sense. And I can't really pick up much else. It's definitely not unpleasant. It's not my thing. I'm trying to think, can I smell any flowers? I don't think so at the moment. Can I smell any fruits? No. Maybe like a slightly clean thing underneath. Yeah. Something's coming through that's, you know, like that ozonic note. Maybe even like cologne. Not cologne as in a cologne, but cologne, which is a slightly lemony aquatic note in fragrances. Something like that. So it's actually a bit of a juxtaposition between a clean, bracing, fresh, almost soapy kind of note with the smoky stuff, smoky wood, like it's almost like smoked wood chips. But they actually work. It doesn't feel wrong. It works, but it's not my thing. So let's see what's actually really in here. My guess is Savoy is not going to be an official note. Let's have a look. Okay, we've got transparent woods, ISOE super. Okay, well, I haven't picked up on that, and to me that's a good thing. Heart notes, birch tar. Okay, I think I said that, didn't I? I think, yeah, I would say birch tar is right there in the top. And base notes, musks and, oh, I can't see what that says. Cedar, maybe? Looks like it begins with a C. Musk and something that begins with a C. Try and read that. Cade. I think it's cade. Cade, is that a smoky note? Not sure. I can't remember what cade is. So, yeah. It's getting better as time goes by. It's losing the Savoy smoked meat thing. It's still very smoky. But it's smoked wood now. It's not meaty. Smoked wood with a slightly clean undertone. That's mostly what I get there. So that is air. And then the last one is called Rebel Soul. Rebel Soul. I'm gonna give that a spray. I didn't look at the notes, but I did happen to see the top note just as I was undoing the package. So it has got sage in it. I don't know the other notes, but let's have a... Ooh. There we go. So let's see. So this one's called Rebel Soul, I think we said. Yeah, so that is very green. Definitely green and herbal. It's almost like walking through the woods, you know, but not the floor, not that earthy forest floor. Very much leaves and bushes and trees. Green. It's also a little bit peppery. And I am getting almost like a dry earth note, so not wet earth, not like there's a note called jasmine. It's not like that. It's almost like dust. So if you took some dirt and you dried a little bit out in the sunshine, it's got that nice mineral dust, which I find very, very appealing. Not necessarily something I want to have in a fragrance. Well, actually I do like it as a note in fragrances, but I'm not into green notes. But the dried dust mineral note in here I really like. It's a little reminiscent of a petrichor note. So Petrichor is when the rain hits the earth, and that smell that comes up, there's a chemical reaction and this smell that comes up from the earth. Or even so rain sometimes when it hits the pavement, and then the sun, it hits a hot pavement, and then the warmth of the pavement pushes that scent up. I love that. I'm getting things like that from this. This is really nice, purely for that it feels mostly like a petrichor type scent now. That green aromatic peppery scent is really cleared away quite quickly, and I mostly get dry dust or yeah, rain on hot pavement, that kind of stuff, which is really nice. I need a bit more from a fragrance for me to love it. If you could add that into something else, I would love it. That note on this is like to me it smells a bit like a single note of a single mineralic note. That's really nice. Let's see what the notes are now. Sage, Atlantic cedar, Virginian cedarwood, Palo Santo and sandalwood. So basically it's just all woods listed. Woods and then the sage. Different woods and sage. But for me, yes, it does smell lightly woody and papery. Actually smells like old books, paper. You know, that yellowed old pages in a book. It smells like that actually. So yeah, you could say it smells like rain on pavement, or turn it on its head, it smells like really old dry books. Either way, it's really nice. I just, for my personal preference, I'd need something more, a flower or a sweet note or something else for me to want to wear this. But on skin, things could be completely different. So that's it. That's all of my thoughts on those samples. Go and have a look at their website. If it sounds like something you might be interested in, definitely check out the website. I really like their philosophy, the whole sustainability, and they are cruelty free, Leaping Bunny approved, so that means that they have to jump through a bit more hoops than some of the other cruelty free labels that you can apply for. And most of their products are vegan, but they do tell you, I think on there they tell you which ones are and which ones aren't. So really love, as I said before, I love the branding. Thank you so much to Belle Rebelle for sending me these samples. It's been an absolute pleasure to try them out. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, you know what to do, don't you? I think you know by now. And if you want to subscribe and you're not already, that would really be so very kind of you.